Here we're recording now. So we're going to go to the website and look at how to post those things, and we're also going to look at how to post to um, the older stuff. So if you had a revision of something, how do you post that? Okay, so let's see. All right, so here we are in the assignments. I'm going to just go back to see if I can get out of this. I'm just going to start here, and I'll start here at the home page. And just to go through it again, because I didn't record it before. So here, homepage, announcements, we said are topical things, things that I want you guys to pay attention to. Sometimes it has to do with messages or information that you need for something. So I think these get sent to you, and so you want to look at them. Assignments, if you click on assignments here, it's going to bring everything up. And so if we were looking at this one, if you had a draft, it doesn't have to be a completed draft, but some kind of draft there. We click on this, and then you would see there's in this case, is older video, but it's still explaining, oh, I have the wrong thing on there. It's explained the comparative. I'll have to change that. And it gives you a little discussion about this. And then again, if you look at the one that's on the 7th, which is about a half an hour, I sent you the link for that. That's maybe better because it's very concentrated. It's only about that paper. And we go through each of the marriage essays, the one Catron did, the one Gallagher did, and we sort of talk about those. We also look at the process of how do you make a body paragraph, a split body paragraph. So we look at a bunch of stuff. And it's only about a half an hour. You can watch it as many times as you want. And I think a lot of times that will answer questions.
It did for me.
Yeah, it did for you good.
Yeah.
So here you would submit assignment like that. Choose your file off your computer or wherever it is. And it'll come up and then submit like that. And then it'll post it under that assignment.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, okay, if I were to be in my view, when I click, if I got out of your view, which I'll do in a minute and show you, in my view, it's got a thing over here, and if I click on this, it says speed grading, and I would speed grade, and so I would look at what people had, and then I would go through the class, and I would find the things that the people that had submitted essays, and I would mark those. Maybe, I think what maybe I'm going to do for a minute for you guys is, after I finish going through this, I'm going to go to a different course and show you. All right, so we're in assignments. This is the current one. But let's say somebody had to revise So Mexicans Are Taking Jobs. We click on this. It's the same thing. So submit assignment, you click there, and it'll again bring you to that page in a minute. There. Where you do the same thing. You choose the file, and then you add it. Okay. And again, the same thing for this one. Does America still, the dream still exist? So a lot of people have a revision of that, and so a lot of people are going to be posting under this. Files. Let me look at files for a minute. So if we were looking at the files here, we're doing comparison contrast paper now. If you click on this, it's going to bring up all the files. There's all the files. And we could click on any of these. Say I don't know where my this essay is. If I click on this, it brings it up, and there it is. And I can just go through the pages like that. And go from the page to the page.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. So we can do that. The directions are here. There's some notes about.
Well, what I did at the beginning when you sent those two to us, I just put them on my desktop so I could just go back and forth.
Did you download it like this, or you just, what did you do? Just open
Um,
the screen and you kept it
I
there?
can't remember how I did it, but it's just a picture. I'm not able to, it's not
Oh,
a PDF, you know?
no, it's not a PDF. It's a
Yeah.
picture. You're right.
Yeah.
This is a doc, so a document. So if you save this, if you download this to your computer, you could write on it. You know, it would be you could. If it's a PDF,
Oh,
it's a PDF. See, this one is a DOCX. You could
oh,
write on this one. Yeah. So I'm going to close this out. So anyway, you're going to see that files. Those are the main things to be looking at. But let me show you a different class so you can see what happens when um, somebody, okay.
Mr. Osborne, are we able to get in touch with computer tech? Remember at the class in San Isidro, there was a guy, an IT computer guy.
Um, hmm.
Can we ask questions to him?
Well, the thing you would want to be asking about is the canvas. The canvas,
Okay.
canvas. Yeah, those are the people that could actually help you. The guy at San Diego is not there anymore. You know,
Right.
nobody's anywhere anymore.
Okay.
So let me show you this other class. So this is 115, and so if I were looking at assignments there, and if I were looking at this one, their first assignment. Well, actually, let me go back. Okay. I don't know how your computer is working, but mine's a little slow. I would go to speed grader like that. For me, this is what I do, which it doesn't seem to be very speedy, but it'll get me there. There. And if we're looking at this one, this is one that somebody submitted to me. Um, if you if you look at her essay, you can see it's sort of marked up. There are little blue like balloons over there, and sometimes there's highlighting. And if you put your little pointer on this, it shows you. So this little thing goes to that one. This little
Coded. Okay.
this little thing goes at the top. So you can see I'm marking the essay in terms of the stuff they have to do. Um, so there's a lot on this one. She's got a lot she needs to fix. Um, and these are just her first two introduction paragraphs. And so I wrote a little note here. If there was a, we'll go to a different one. If there was a peer review on it, actually, let's go to a different assignment. Um, oh, this is slow. There, and if I went to see what people did, so she turned hers in kind of late, so she doesn't have a peer review. Let's see. Let's find some people with peer reviews. I think everybody's just learning how to do this now. Um, let's see.
It's a lot to learn.
It's a lot for everybody to learn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I replied to yours on this one. Okay.
I'm sorry, I have to take this. It's from my doctor.
Okay, go. Go.
Hello.
All right. So we looked at that. Um, and that's kind of how you publish things. Okay. So is that clear to you guys how to do that? Upload the files. Everybody, Kareem, is that clear to you?
Yes.
Okay. So that's how you're going to put your files on there so that I can mark them up. The ones you guys did in class, I should have sent you back. So you would have gotten like an email with a PDF or something attached to it. And then I would have marked on that one. So you would take those marks and, fix whatever you needed to, and then post them. If it's a revision.
Thank you so much. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Under so Mexicans are taking jobs, if it was that one, or under the one about America, and does it still exist? Okay, all right. So where are you guys with this? Because nobody's posted today. All right, so Charles is going to post today. Ilse, will you post today?
Yesterday I posted my final draft, so you can take a look of it, and then I post like the chart that you like gave us, like to compare and contrast.
Oh, the points.
I download some information right there too, but I don't know like where else. And then I just remember you sent me like my draft from the last paper that we did have to review, but I couldn't find it again, like to work on that. I don't know where to find it.
If I send it to you, it's going to be in your email.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can go. What?
I found your class, the 30-minute video, really good because I had so many doubts, Ilse, and after I watched it, I went back to my paper.
It was good. It wasn't long, right?
That's what I like, that it wasn't long. It was kind of to the point, yeah.
Okay. So Alex, how are you and Cameron doing?
We're doing pretty good.
So did you guys post? Hello, Cameron. Did you guys post anything yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, so where are you in that process?
I'm finishing it up. I just need to add a few more things at the end.
Okay.
Working.
Are you working on the paper or something else?
The paper.
The paper.
Okay. Just asking. All right. Good. So I'll get some stuff from you guys. I think I'm gonna have to call some people because I don't know. Sometimes people give up. They're like, "Oh, this is too much for me. I just can't do this." Cry. So I'm gonna call them and.
I frustrated at the beginning too.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, but then I said, you know what? I have to do it. I have to do it.
Yes, same.
Yeah,
Ditto.
because I don't like, to be honest, I don't like classes online.
No.
I don't feel like I can get like retain the information like when I'm actually in the classroom and paying attention and writing. Yeah, and that's why I got frustrated. But I mean, I'm dealing with this. I'm doing it. I'm doing well on my other two classes. So hopefully I
Well,
finish
I found out to do much better this way than in class with the other teacher. And the reason why is because maybe in the other class there was like 20 something people, and it's too many questions at the same time. But with this one, I can record my class. I can go back to my notes and, if I didn't get it, it's a big difference online classes than Zoom classes. I know this is the same online, but there are classes that are online and you only have to read, and that's it. You don't get the feedback like we do with you guys now with Zoom.
Yeah.
So I love it. I really do. I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, if you've taken an online class before, it's pretty much Gosh, it's like reading a book and then answering the questions. It's kind of
There
like
you
that.
go. And
That's like,
I was totally against online classes. I said, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to make it, you know. But when
yeah,
you guys brought up the Zoom, I was like, wow, I love it. I was elated.
yeah, yeah. You're finally on TV.
Yay. I'm not as popular as Tite, but oh well.
Yeah, I wish I had a different face. I tell you, I need an avatar. Beard, mustache and a beard, I think. I used to have all that. Yeah, I used to have all that, but I could
Well,
buy it.
we can dress up for our next class.
Yeah, I will find an avatar for me.
Right?
Oh, okay. All right. So I want to present to you something about the next paper. Does anybody have questions about the one you're working on or an old one? Because these might be helpful for the next people.
Mr. Osborne, you
Yeah.
said, going back to the same paper that we're working on the video, you said that when we do the half a page and we combine it at the
Yeah.
bottom of those two combined paragraphs, we do a little,
Like a little close it down, a little conclusion of what you have seen. I mean, if we're talking about children, we know Gallagher says this about children, and on the other hand, Catron says, so Gallagher says it's just better to be married because you have two people.
Mhm.
okay,
Really give good reasons. She just kind of assumes you would believe her.
okay,
Catron, on the other hand, says, well, of course, it's always better to have more than one parent, but on the other hand, if it's not a stable household, if the parents aren't happy together, then it's not good for the kids. It's not a good place for them either. So she
okay,
makes that point. She's so, and I think what she's doing really is defending single moms a lot because um, they're doing this whole thing by themselves. And if they can provide a stable family, if their children feel comfortable around them, what kids want is security. They want to feel like they're cared for, but they also want to feel secure. They don't want to feel like, I don't know what's going to happen when I go home today. How are they going to
yeah,
treat me today? Is somebody going to scream at me today? Is somebody going to
mm,
be drunk today? They don't want that. So she makes a really good point that Gallagher just ignores. Um, I mean, of course, it's great to have two parents because there's more money and all of that. But if it's not a good marriage, then those kids are suffering.
the
I don't.
kids are the ones that suffer, not the grown-ups, you know.
Okay, but so you see, we just had this discussion, and if you use what each person says in their essay, Gallagher and Catron,
Okay,
don't don't bring in your own information. Don't bring in your own life.
okay,
Bring in what this Gallagher says this, and she produces this information, and Catron brings this in, and she produces this information, because in the long run, we want to critique them. We want to know, so which one had the better understanding of, marriage or not being married? Which one? Again, if we looked at Catron makes another good point where she says, well, when I'm married, I don't talk to my family very much. I just don't call people because she spends most of her time with her husband, and they kind of they're their own unit, so they don't have those kind of intimate conversations with their parents or their brothers and sisters, or even their friends they used to have. They just don't have them anymore. And
okay,
what eventually happens is your life sort of closes down a little bit. You don't have 20 friends. You might have one friend or two friends. And the friends you have might be very casual, or it might be built around the children. And so when the children go, you have nothing in common. So she's trying to make the point that as a single person or as a non-married person, you have more time for your friends. You can keep developing those relationships. And it's not just talking to one person and, listening to one person. You have more variety, more interest in your life, more people bringing out a lot of different ideas. So she doesn't want to miss that. She wants to make sure, that happens. Um, Gallagher, on the other hand, in terms of that, so if they're both talking about loneliness and companionship, but Gallagher is also talking, Catron is also talking about you can feel isolated in a relationship because you're isolated from all these people you used to be with. Um, Gallagher's point across from that, or in contrast to that one, is that but you got your husband at home, So you've got company. You've always got company. Um, and sometimes that's true, but then a lot of times not so true. The romance period is only good for 6 months, really, the high part of the romance, and then it sort of goes down a little bit, and there are moments after that, sparks after that, but the
It's a different kind of love.
it's a different kind of love. But what Catron is asking, have your expectations gone down? Are you just accepting this closed-in space? It's a good question. It's not a bad question. It doesn't make the relationship between married people bad. It just means, have you allowed yourself to get to this place where it's not as fun? It's a little boring. You talk about the same things. When people have been married for a long time, a lot of times they just kind of stop talking very much. Don't really have much conversation. So anyway, they're both making points, and you pull the information out from each side. And then you're comparing them. When you get to your conclusion, you want to decide who maybe has what did we say, a more practical understanding, or of which, however we put that prompt. I think it's a more practical understanding. You can say, in terms of the different points, one person makes a better point. Neither is correct, maybe. You could also say, well, I think it depends on your lifestyle, on a person's lifestyle, and if they have children or not, in terms of what they find better. So sometimes it's a personal choice. But in terms of who did better, you might say they made equally good points. I think Gallagher is probably dated just because she's kind of the old days viewpoint, and she doesn't. Gallagher's information could be updated, which would make more sense for people that are married in 2020, not in 2000. 20 years, into the future now, things are a little different. So she could have. That would be great for somebody to update her essay. I'm also wondering if Catron actually got married, because she is living with that guy. And she's talking about, well, in the future we might get married, we might have children, and we've already bought a house. And I'm like, you've already bought a house. You're darn near there together. So these are all the ways of looking at it, thinking about it. Your thesis sentence, which is at the end of the introduction, should be talking about the topic marriage. Before that, you should have introduced a one-sentence summary of each essay. What is Catron talking about in general? What is Gallagher talking about in general? And if you refer to that one example, that Jacqueline Alliser, I think it is, if you refer to her... Alcocer, like Alka-Seltzer. If you refer to hers, then you have her introduction is good. Now, there's only 2 paragraphs there. You don't have a body paragraph, I don't think. So, but that's at least something to help you. Okay. So, let me go to what we're going to be doing next. Some of that. So we're going to be looking at the idea of the caravan coming to our border, or actually it's still about immigration, but it's maybe large-scale immigration. And I think you guys can see now that when bad things happen, like we're having COVID right now, people might feel they want to leave where they are. If there was a lot of the virus going around, they might feel uncertain, they might feel unsafe. But if we were looking at things like food shortages, or violence in the country, or climate change, where the water just gets, they have bad storms, like the Philippines has had some terrible storms, and we'll probably have more. And it's the question of some of those countries where they're located, because of climate change, the weather is becoming really violent. In some parts of Africa and places like that, there is no water. So there are issues everywhere. And because of that, people march, they get on their feet and move because they want to survive, and they want to make sure their children, say, don't go through the violence if it's become a really violent place. And then some people just come for the opportunity. So that movement's going to accelerate, and the United States is a natural destination for it. So the question is, what are we going to do about it? You know, I don't think we can ever build a wall big enough to keep everyone out. If we look at the border in Canada, the Canadian border is a huge border. It's very long. It's the whole width of our country, a couple thousand miles. We'll never build a wall like that. And by the way, you know, somebody's in the middle of the woods, they can just figure out how to get over. Anybody going to see them? No, they're going to be there, and that's it. So we have to be thinking about, as things become worse for many countries, which they will, what are we going to do? How are we going to handle this? They're going to come here, especially if they can walk. So especially from Central America and maybe South America, they can walk. They can get here. It's a long walk, but they can get here. So these are things we want to be thinking about. So I've got a couple of handouts. I just want to sort of share with you the kind of things we're going to be looking at, but that's the topic. And the topic is, what do we do about it? So let's look at this one. All right, so this is an interesting piece. Whoops, what happened? Oh, this thing goes really fast. It'll go to the very end without you even wanting it to.
How many pages do you want from this one?
This one, probably about the same, 3 pages. But you see, well, I'm gonna get out of there and come back to it. I like the picture. The picture, I still can't get there. Anyway, they just cut the picture off. And so it's talking about people coming across the border here. And this was a couple of years ago, but it's going to continue. And it's, what do they want? And it's why. Like, this one's about violence. They've been threatened by criminal gangs, of course. And others need to get a job. There's no, some countries, the parents maybe eat once a day, so, or skip food every other day, so their families can have, so their children can have a meal. And I'm not saying the children get 3 meals; they might get 1 meal a day. So for some of them, and they're working, by the way. It's not that they're not working; they're just not making enough money to have food. They want to leave. They want to come somewhere where they can, you know, have hope, and where their children can have food that just makes all kinds of sense. The U.S. reaction to this kind of thing has been, okay, it's not going down. It's just, I think, well, anyway, this was a nice one because of the picture. Let me see if I can reload it. Yeah. Let's see if I can just go down a little bit.
So we can print this, right?
You can print this, and as you said, you can put it up on yours. I am in a Chromebook, which I don't like. It doesn't have the usual controls that are regular.
Okay.
I have two of the computers. They have great controls, but they don't have cameras. So I'm going to be putting a camera on one this weekend. It'll work better. So okay, this is an interesting piece. This is the actual instructions. And let's see, if I went to this one right here, this is a link in these. Copy this. And I went over here. Let's see what it'll bring up. So it brings all kinds of stuff up, information. I mean, there's some interesting things about this. So we could look at this one. So this is sort of the research that you'll be working with. Um, anyway, so this Trump's words led this man to shoot people, so that was a bad thing. Okay.
Is the Atlantic like a newspaper, or what is the Atlantic?
The Atlantic is a magazine, a very high-end one.
Oh,
So this
okay.
one is, yeah, I really can't go down the page on this because it'll just take me. Oh, maybe it will. That's great. Go to an older one. Okay. Um, so this is about the caravan and what's going on. So we would do some searching. Oh, this is going to be too slow. Okay. And this is sort of an outline of what your paper would look like. So if you think the audience you're writing to is going to agree with you, so you're going to make an argument. You're either going to say, we need to be more compassionate about these people coming over, and so maybe there's some things or some ways we could help them. There's a lot of things we could do. We could give these countries where they're very poor more money, so that, or go over there and create jobs so that the people that are not able to eat or having trouble feeding their children could have jobs, which would be a lot cheaper than building a wall, and that would make good relations. Um, so there's a lot of things we could do. We'll be looking at that. And so let's say you want to argue that we should be more compassionate. You would have a couple of reasons for this. It says argument one, but these are your claims. You make an argument that we should be more compassionate, say, and that it's not going to stop, so we need to figure out something. You would make your argument. I'm going to have some articles for you to look at that will support what you want to say. And you would have a couple of reasons for what you believe. I'm going to have some examples of other people's arguments on there so you can look at them. Then you would have to think about, well, so what's the other side saying? You know, are they going to be supporting me? So you look at the counter argument, the other side, and you want to say, well, they have this viewpoint, but they're probably wrong for these reasons. You want to refute them. And then you have your conclusion. So I just wanted to sort of introduce you to, hold on, this. Okay, now we'll get back to that. Okay. So this, I think we already saw one time. This is the ACEs, and it talks about what an argument is. We'll be talking about what an argument is. And strategies, the strategies that someone might use. With any luck, I'll have a different computer on Monday and Tuesday. So it won't work like this. Evidence, so you have an argument, and then you have a claim. Here's the claim. So an argument is the big idea. The claims are the reasons for why you take your position. And down here. And then you have evidence that so you prove it. You look at these articles that I'm going to give you, and maybe you're going to look a couple of up and say, well, you know, they're giving me, let's say, I'm reading some interviews from, say, the people that are crossing and why they're coming, and it seems reasonable. I have some anecdotes or stories of people, their personal experience, what they've gone through. And I might have some actual data, some statistics and things like that I can present as my evidence. Okay, so that's kind of some of the stuff I wanted to show you guys. Just a quick overview of what I'm going to be setting up for Monday, so you don't feel like it got dropped on you. But really, for this weekend, I want you guys to get this work done. Look, we need to get caught up, because on next week we're only going to have 5 weeks left. That's it. Which sounds like, oh, I got 5 weeks. Well, that's like 4 weekends.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you think about your time, it's like, uh-oh.
I lose more time going from the table to the fridge.
Okay, I know about
than on
that.
my homework.
Yes, I know about that. I do. Yeah, we have a big pot of beans on. I'm going to stop the recording now.